Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. An economist at this week's Tanova Mining and Minerals Symposium has warned that if steps to halt the rapid decline of South Africa's crucial gold mining industry aren't taken soon, the industry will be in danger of losing its critical mass. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Shannon.
Firstly, what is the current situation and the outlook for South Africa's gold mining industry?
You know, we were so far ahead in mining. We used to produce 68% of the world's gold, 68%. We're now down to 6%. We're below Peru. And needlessly, because we've still got 40% of the world's known gold reserves in the ground. So we've still got a lot of gold in the ground, and we're just not bringing it to surface. And even in this parlous state, you can see that gold still earned us the most from any commodity last year in foreign exchange. 72 billion rands worth. We can see gold paying 22 billion rand a year in salaries, and you know, it is an important industry because we are sitting here, you know, because of gold, and we've got this background scene on the Golden City because this is what our foundation is. And there's so many forward linkages, backward linkages, side linkages to gold that it is really not the industry that you should allow to go down the drain. And already we're seeing skills packing for Perth, you know, again this week. And those are the sort of things that can destroy your critical mass. And it's like Humpty Dumpty, you know, falling off the wall. Don't let Humpty Dumpty fall, because it's difficult to put it, you know, Humpty together again. And that's what people are fearing now. And I was very pleased that, you know, the economist Chris Hart raised this off his own bat in his keynote address to the Tanova mining conference in Johannesburg, because we hear it a lot from the Chamber of Mines, and people think, well, they're talking their own book, you know, and you hear it from certain people in mining, and people, they don't believe them as much as they do an outsider. And the more outsiders do this, the better chance we've got of trying to save this industry, because it's really worth saving. You know, it's just there's no point in falling below Peru with 6% of the world's production when we can do so much more.
And I suppose we take it more seriously when a well-respected economist like Chris Hart says things like this.
Because it's more credible. You know, he's not talking his own book, he's talking South Africa's book and saying, look guys, it can do us a lot of good. There's still 100 years of mining here. We've been mining for 100 years. We were so dominant, and there's no reason why we shouldn't at least be, you know, up there. Why should China take over? You know, and it's not as if there isn't consumption. Fine, the price is down at the moment, but it's because investors have deserted gold, because they were trying to protect themselves from this worst global downturn since the 30s in 2008. So they rushed into gold. And when they saw, well, America's sorting this out by creating money, and if we get that money and we can put it on the American Stock Exchange and make more money, they started going out of gold. So they've caused the problems. But the consumers of physical gold are still consuming, you know, at the same level. India, not so, because the change of legislation there to try and keep gold out because of the currency problems that it's creating. But China more than taking over, and it'll consume, you know, 1,000 tons this year, without doubt. Everybody's saying more than 1,000 tons for the first time. And of those 1,000 tons, it needs to import like 800 tons of that. So we only produced 167 tons here. You know, we've got a capacity down the road at the refinery to produce 1,000 tons. So there's big scope in this industry, and someone needs to reinforce it, like an outsider, Chris Hart, and I hope more people do it.
Talking about investors now, it's been reported that some will never invest again in a deep mine in South Africa unless the environment is changed.
And you know, Peter Major of Cadiz, I mean, he really commentates very accurately on this industry, and he tells it as it is, not even like it is, you know. And he's saying, look, no one's going to invest in a deep level mine again. And you know, we do need some investment in mining, never mind deep level, You know, nobody's doing anything in the mining space that's significant at the moment. So he's saying that it shouldn't be used as a political tool. You know, make sure that you have a regulatory environment that doesn't create a lot of uncertainty. Don't make statements that put people off. Don't have duplicate mining rights, as we found with one of the manganese rights at the moment. Two people are claiming the same right. You know, we thought we were out of that, and now they can't even solve it outside of the courts. It looks like it's going to have to go to courts, which means there's a lot of bad publicity again for this insecurity, because security of tenure, you have to have it in mining because they're looking 30 years hence. And so those are the things that they need to straighten out.
What is the way forward for gold mining in South Africa?
There is a way forward. That's the thing. It's not as if we've reached the end of the road. We know that there's ample reserves under there. 40% of the world's known reserves at least under there. That's a massive amount of gold. And the new methods have got to be high-tech. You've got to get more shifts. You can't have 365 days a year and only get 220 shifts, you know, in terms of a blast a day. That pedestrian pace has just got to change. And I think the way to do it is to automate. You know, as AngloGold Ashanti have got the system, they're calling it South African technology. They're not even taking it upon themselves and saying, no, we're going to have this technology, nobody else is. They're prepared to share it. And the platinum industry can also share it. So all the hard rock mining can share it. And it is a fantastic system because it takes, you know, all the gold, only the gold, all the time, safely. And safety is the big thing as well, because you're going to depths, and it's an automated process, and they're ready to share it, and they're not the only ones. You know, they've got the CSR coming through saying we should go for a robotics route. We've got all sorts of other researchers offering new ideas. And so there is a way through. It does create wealth in the country. It keeps, you know, the side linkages and the backward linkages and all the other linkages going that are so important. There's so many jobs linked to that. So it's worth doing that extra bit and changing the paradigm. But someone's got to lead it firmly.
Thank you very much, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Shannon.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time for more news and insight into what's happening in the mining world.